We're going to turn now to the future Queen consort, Camilla. She's given a rare interview about her life with Prince Charles and how she has learned to cope with criticism after decades in the spotlight. Maggie really is in London with the story. Good morning, Maggie.
And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
Tensions within the British royal family have long been the subject of speculation, fascination, and intense media coverage, but rarely do private family confrontations erupt into full-blown crises with irreversible consequences. Yet such a scenario has seemingly unfolded in the most sensational fashion imaginable. Camilla, Queen consort, has reportedly been banned for life by Prince William after a thunderous and deeply personal conflict with Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. This event marks a seismic shift in the inner workings of the House of Windsor, pushing already delicate relationships to a breaking point and illuminating the brewing undercurrents of resentment, power struggles, and unspoken wounds that have lingered behind palace walls for years. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. It began with simmering tensions that had, for the most part, been kept behind the curtain of royal decorum. There had always been whispers of cold shoulders, veiled insults, and tension at family functions, but nothing that could be publicly confirmed. However, this particular incident, a furious confrontation between Camilla and Kate that culminated in a complete fracture, erupted during what was supposed to be a quiet, private family gathering at one of the royal estates. What transpired was anything but peaceful. According to multiple internal sources close to the matter, the altercation between Camilla and Kate was not only fiery but deeply personal, culminating in accusations, shouting, and a final decisive act by Prince William that has stunned royal insiders and loyalists alike. The argument, as insiders suggest, didn't arise from a single incident, but was the result of a series of long-standing slights, perceived betrayals, and clashing personalities that finally boiled over. Camilla, never known for backing down, had grown increasingly bold in asserting her position within the royal hierarchy since being crowned queen consort. Her increased confidence, many say, has led to behavior some see as domineering and dismissive, particularly toward Kate, whom Camilla has reportedly viewed with suspicion and jealousy. Tensions flared as Camilla began to openly criticize Kate's approach to her royal duties, subtly questioning her public demeanor, her fashion choices, and even her parenting style. These were not merely personal jabs, they were strategic slights intended to undermine Kate's growing popularity and prominence in the public eye. Kate, for her part, had largely maintained a composed and diplomatic stance, reportedly brushing off Camilla's provocations and focusing on her charitable work and her children. But the confrontation that led to the dramatic fallout came after a private discussion spiraled into a bitter exchange. Camilla, allegedly emboldened by her official role and the perceived power it brings, made a disparaging comment that crossed a deeply personal line, not only offending Kate, but igniting a fury in William that no one present had witnessed before. The specifics of Camilla's comment remain tightly guarded within palace circles, but the reaction was immediate and explosive. Witnesses describe Kate's face turning white, her composure breaking in a rare moment of visible pain and anger. Before palace aides could intervene, William stepped in, visibly shaken and fiercely protective of his wife. The tension in the room was said to be palpable, with voices raised, emotions laid bare, and no attempt at royal restraint. For William, this was more than a family squabble. It was a direct attack on the woman he loves and the mother of his children. The weight of William's response was swift and unforgiving. In the hours following the clash, he made it unequivocally clear to those in charge of palace operations and family communications. Camilla was no longer welcome in his personal or family life. The message was not relayed through quiet diplomacy or behind-the-scenes intermediaries. It was direct, firm, and absolute. As Prince of Wales, future king, and a man unwilling to tolerate disrespect toward his wife, William made a decision that will likely have lasting repercussions on the royal institution. Camilla, despite her title, was to be banned from any future involvement in his immediate family's affairs. This wasn't just symbolic, it was structural. No shared engagements, no private visits, no inclusion in any familial events where William and Kate would be present. The implications of this ban reverberated immediately through palace corridors and royal circles. It shattered the thin veil of unity that the firm had attempted to present in the aftermath of Queen Elizabeth II's passing and during King Charles III's early reign. Insiders report a flurry of crisis meetings and hushed phone calls, with King Charles caught in an impossible position, torn between loyalty to his wife and the reality that his son, heir to the throne, had drawn an unmovable boundary. Those close to Charles describe him as deeply distressed, recognizing that his own marriage now risks being a source of division in a family already struggling with estrangement, most notably from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. For the wider public, the banishment of Camilla by Prince William is more than royal family drama. It is a direct exposure of the deep fault lines beneath the surface of Britain's most famous institution. While Camilla was once seen as the villain in the tragic saga of Princess Diana, her recent efforts to rehabilitate her public image had found moderate success. This incident threatens to undo that progress entirely. Her public role is now being re-evaluated by palace strategists who must balance her ceremonial importance with the very real interpersonal crisis now splintering the monarchy's upper ranks. This development also marks a defining moment for Kate Middleton. Long admired for her grace, diplomacy, and ability to maintain composure under pressure, Kate's decision to finally confront Camilla, whether in self-defense or as a culmination of years of quiet endurance, signals a transformation in her public and private role. She is no longer simply the Duchess who married into royalty. She is a central figure in the royal power structure, and one whose presence commands both public adoration and internal respect. The altercation, painful as it was, may ultimately consolidate Kate's position within the monarchy as a woman of resolve, deserving of both protection and influence. Observers of the royal family note that this moment may mark the beginning of a generational shift. William and Kate, increasingly seen as the modern face of the monarchy, are stepping into roles that involve not just ceremonial duties, but the active shaping of the institution's future. By drawing a firm line against Camilla, William has done more than defend his wife. He has reasserted his values and priorities for the future of the crown. It is a bold move that some see as necessary to preserve the family's credibility with a younger, more emotionally attuned generation of Britons who are less tolerant of traditional power dynamics and more drawn to authenticity and emotional intelligence. Yet, not everyone within the royal institution is likely to support William's decisive action. For some of the more traditional figures within the palace hierarchy, such a bold and public break from protocol may be seen as disruptive or even insubordinate. The monarchy, after all, is built on a foundation of stability, tradition, and unity. A rift this severe challenges all three and forces difficult conversations about succession, influence, and the role of interpersonal relationships within an organization that relies so heavily on symbolic cohesion. There's also the matter of public perception. The British public, often split in their loyalties between the different royal figures, may interpret this fallout in a variety of ways. For many who continue to revere the memory of Princess Diana, the incident may feel like poetic justice, a son defending his wife in a way his father never did for his mother. For others who have come to accept Camilla in her new role, the sudden and harsh banishment may seem disproportionate, a sign of unresolved pain rather than statesmanship. The media will almost certainly capitalize on the spectacle, further inflaming public emotions and forcing the royal family into the uncomfortable position of having to manage the fallout, not just internally, but across a very watchful public stage. As for Camilla herself, the ramifications are profound. She has fought for decades to gain a place of legitimacy and recognition within the royal family, navigating intense public scrutiny and decades of negative press. Her elevation to Queen Consort was supposed to mark the final act of her redemption arc. Instead, this incident may well be remembered as a turning point, the moment when private tension became public fracture, and her once cemented role was thrown into question. While her position as Queen Consort remains intact for now, the loss of access to William and Kate's family represents a significant diminishment of influence and relational standing. It's also worth considering the psychological dimension of this rift. The royal family is not merely a political institution, it is a family, with all the emotional intricacies and historical baggage that comes with it. William, having grown up amidst scandal, loss, and betrayal, carries a deep awareness of the damage done by public dysfunction. His response to Camilla's treatment of Kate is not just the act of a future king asserting control. It is the act of a man seeking to break the cycle of pain and neglect he witnessed in his formative years. His decision to exile Camilla from his immediate circle can be seen as a form of emotional boundary setting rarely seen within the often stoic traditions of royalty. The long-term consequences of this decision remain to be seen, but for now, the line has been drawn. Camilla's presence will no longer be tolerated in the personal sphere of the Prince and Princess of Wales. This moment may one day be remembered as a dramatic inflection point in the modern history of the monarchy, one that reshaped not only family dynamics, but the very structure of influence and authority within the royal court. It sends a clear message that respect, loyalty, and emotional integrity will be the foundation upon which William and Kate build their legacy, regardless of the established hierarchies or old alliances that once held sway. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Camilla's ban? What do you expect happens next? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.